What's up, everybody? A Ward here, and I'm here to let you know that the A Ward Show is now officially brought to you by the Ripple to Wave Foundation, where they're manifesting waves of impact, one ripple at a time. Ripple to Wave empowers volunteers to create real change, from mentoring youth and protecting the environment to supporting those people in need. That includes seniors, veterans, and even animals. Yes, even animals. Every project is a chance to make your ripple in the community, and together, those ripples form waves of impact. The team at Ripple to Wave stays active with projects and events just about every weekend, and they're growing fast. Their Albuquerque, New Mexico team just launched their first project, and they're only getting started since their official launch on June 2nd of 2025. Get involved, volunteer, and learn more at rippletowavefoundation.org. That's Ripple, the number 2, wavefoundation.org. Follow them on all their socials at Ripple, the number 2, Wave Foundation on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to them on YouTube. Together, let's make some waves. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the A Ward Show. I'm your host and curator and engineer and videographer. I am all the things. I am A Ward, and I thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of me just talking about what the hell I want to talk about. First things first, let's do a little housekeeping. You guys make sure you subscribe, comment, like, share, let the people know how much you love it. Make sure you guys hit that link tree. Follow me on all of my socials. If I'm not in one of the social streets, like I always say, let me know, and I'm pulling up. Make sure you guys follow my partners, Ripple to Wave, A-Dot, Lost Perception. All their socials are in the description below. If you cannot watch this video and you need to hear the sultry sounds of A Ward, you guys can find me on all the major podcast audio sharing platforms. I'm on Apple, I'm on Spotify, I'm on iHeart, and many, many more. Let me know if I'm not there. Like I always say as well, I'm pulling up. But let's get into this week's episode, man, because I got a lot of shit to talk about. Out the gate, I got to get myself settled. I wasn't settled. I just got right into it. And you know how we start the show. If you don't know, we started off with my favorite segment, the segment where I talk about a whole bunch of sports, and I probably don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This is Yo No Say Nada. Yo no sé nada. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to tell you right now that my notes, I had them in order of what I wanted to talk about. And just for audio video sake, to let you guys know the timeline of when I'm recording this on Tuesday. What's today? The 13th of January of the new year, 2026. And I had to wait until the Monday night games. I normally record Monday before the Monday night games, but this is the playoffs, so I got to make sure we get everything wrapped up. You know, the whole week. I can't wait till the next week. Every week that's whatever happens that week, that's it. Some teams are going home. And so I had to wait till the Monday night game. I'm on the west side of the country. I'm in AZ, so, you know, plus it was a late game, right? I mean, I guess earlier for us, for the people on the east side, East Coast. But game didn't get done till late, and your boy has a regular 9 to 5. So had to wait, and I'm glad I did, man, because man, did some news drop today. As of the time of this recording, like I said, Tuesday, January 13th. And so y'all going to have to bear with me because my notes, I had some notes there that were down below that I got to start off this Yo No Say Nada with. And that is after the Houston Texans and Pittsburgh Steelers Monday night game, in which Houston dominated. The next day, today, as of this recording, Mike Tomlin has stepped down as the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I want to start with the Monday night game, and then we'll get into the coaching situation, and then we'll get back into the games. I think that's how we're going to do this. All I did was, put out a little something on the socials, a clip from the entirety of the show, and said when that matchup was set, Houston versus Pittsburgh, that Houston defense was looking at Aaron Rodgers and was like, hey, man, I need that lunch, dog. They were on school bully time. And I did think it would be a lot closer of a game, and it wasn't. Now, it was close for a while there, but it was obvious out the gate what the Texans came to do in Pittsburgh, and I understand Pittsburgh at that time were like 23-0 or something like that, going back to like 1991 on Monday night. I understand that Houston had not won a road playoff game in the short history of their organization. I understand that they had not won below 40 degrees on the road in the short history of their organization. But sometimes you just have to address what you actually see on the TV. And what I had actually seen on the TV this whole year was the Texans defense was absolutely scary. It started with the front line. It started with those monsters in Anderson and Danielle Hunter. And then obviously the linebacking crew. And then obviously, to me, the best cornerback in the league this year in Derek Stingley Jr. But a bunch of guys that were just balling out for that Texans defense all year. And like with any team, they had some slippity-bippities, against a couple of teams late in the year, against the Colts, Riley Leonard. They were looking ahead. They were looking ahead to this game. And they came out and they made Aaron Rodgers look like he was 40-something years old. And all I heard was DK Metcalf's going to be back. And they locked him down. The run game that's been hit or miss for Pittsburgh wasn't there. Offense just wasn't there. And the offense for Pittsburgh has been hit or miss all season. Just has been. But the Texans absolutely dominated this game from the defensive standpoint. Now, I will say, C.J. Stroud and that center, I don't know what's going on, like what happened that game. If Pittsburgh was too loud, if the moment was a little bit too large for that center, bad snaps. But C.J. Stroud has some really bad turnovers, some bad fumble, interception type deals. And, it wasn't really characteristic of what C.J. Stroud has shown as far as like ball security goes. So it's really weird. And it did feel like for a good portion of this game that even though Pittsburgh hadn't really got it going, neither had Houston. And they were still in this game. And it started to feel like once that one big play happens, it's going to change the game. And that's what it was. It was that defense making great plays, ended the game on a pick six, or essentially ended the game on a pick six. Now, Nico Collins got hurt for the Texans. And despite that, they were able to get it going a little bit in the second half. Woody Marks was able to start to run a little bit better. Nick Chubb had a couple of solid runs, decent, nothing crazy. And all that led to was a huge win for the Texans and 2 huge losses for the Steelers. Now, Mike Tomlin has stepped down as the head coach. As I said earlier, the longest tenured head coach in the league for 19 years. He had been, and outside of that, it was John Harbaugh right behind him at 18 seasons. Both are now gone from their organizations. Now, I don't know if this Steelers, if Mike Tomlin stepping down is surprising, but it is a little bit shocking because it kind of felt like this wasn't going to happen. The way that the Steelers were talking about this, saying that, essentially the news had, or at least reports that came out that they were going to at least give him another season, see if maybe Aaron Rodgers can come back and see if they can make another run at it, maybe get some different pieces, move some pieces around and give Mike Tomlin at least one more season to assess, the future for them. I don't know if this was maybe Mike Tomlin saying, hey, man, I've been kind of hearing this the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm just really tired of it. And maybe it's time for a change. I don't know if the Steelers organization maybe went to Mike Tomlin and said, hey, man, it's probably time for a real rebuild. And if we do that, we're looking at like the next 3 years of us not really being good. Like we're going to have to like unload some cap space and all kind of stuff. And maybe they said that to him. Hey, Aaron's going to, we don't know if Aaron's coming back. Obviously this was kind of a loaner deal for Aaron to come over and be a part of this team because we felt like we were a quarterback away. Seems like they're much more than that, obviously. And so maybe the Steelers went to Mike Tomlin and said, hey, man, we're looking at doing a rebuild. We need to just flush everything down the toilet and start new. And maybe Mike Tomlin looked at that and said, hey, man, I'm not really here for all that. Like, I'm not going to be able to lose games or to intentionally fail for maybe the chance to succeed. And so I don't know. We haven't found any details. And with this organization and with that coach, we might not ever really find out what actually happened. But I'm not saying it wasn't time for him to move on from the Steelers. I'm not saying it wasn't time for them to finally separate. I mean, in this league, if you get over 5 years with a team, that is amazing. To damn near go 20 years, one organization, both him and Harbaugh, is amazing. It really is. And at some point, I just think that the voice in the room becomes dull. It becomes quiet. We've heard it before. And I think that's really what happened in both instances. Now, I jokingly said this. Earlier this season, when both teams were struggling, obviously at the time it looked like maybe the Ravens were going to be all the way out of it. They climbed back into it. Steelers have been up and down. They were winning this, they had control of the division for a little bit there, but then it felt like, well, do they? Or is like they're kind of backing their way into this thing? But I was like, hey, man, crazy idea. What if you just switch them dudes? Like take Mike over to Baltimore and take John over to Pittsburgh. And then like we just get another at least like 4 years of them going against each other, but with each other's rosters and see what happens. Like it would just be interesting. And sure enough, when the news of Mike Tomlin stepping down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers came out, the media was actually interviewing Baltimore's owner and let him know the news. And here's what he had to say.
At Pittsburgh.
He did? Is it official?
That's what I keep hearing. So is he a candidate here?
Holy shit, Mike. Wouldn't that be awesome? Only if John takes the Pittsburgh job. Wow. Wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know. That thing last week, maybe disqualified him for my opening after our kicker missed a kick to let them advance. Good for Mike. Yeah, I don't know. Talk to him. I love Mike. I mean, I've admired Mike for 18 years, and that's really shocking that he did it that way. But yeah, that's kind of crazy.
So look, I do find that quite interesting. Like, first of all, I know they would jump at the chance to get Mike Tomlin. Like the rivalry stuff, it may matter to Mike Tomlin. It's not going to matter to Baltimore. Baltimore's going to be like, hey, man, we can get Mike Tomlin. We've had to face him. We know what he's about. Do we think we at least think we might be able to get better? I don't know. But I know they would definitely look at it. And based on what the owner said, it might be a real possibility. But man, Mike Tomlin putting his name in the hat, essentially. We don't know what he plans to do. Maybe he plans to go to media. We don't know. Very early. But he's definitely going to get some calls. And boy, did he mess up the damn coaching carousel. We're going to get back to the coaching carousel in just a moment. But man, Mike Tomlin, you done hooked some shit up that week. All right, let's I want to roll it back a little bit. I'll roll it back and we're going to get into some college ball because that's where really the end of last week started. And that's how I was going to start the show, was with the CFP semis. And CFP championship is now set. It is now Indiana versus Miami, which I think a lot of people did expect based on the teams that were playing in the semis. And we'll start with who I think everybody thinks is the favorite. But the Indiana versus Oregon game kind of went exactly how we thought it would. I think it went a little bit better for Indiana than I think some people thought it would. I did think Indiana was clearly the better team. And I got to say this. We're going to start it off like this. I know I said, if I'm the Raiders, I don't know if I'm picking Mendoza. And man, TikTok had a lot of shit to say about that. And I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the banter. I appreciate the conversation. And I'm still not 100% sure. I'll be honest with you. But man, what Fernando Mendoza did to Oregon, like, my bad, bro. I even said Fernando, I didn't really know if he was a first-round quarterback. I will definitely say he's a first-round quarterback. He made 5 throws this game that was like, okay. Okay. Mind you, he made 5 throws. They were 5 touchdown throws. Like, the throws he made were like, and then he just, first of all, their scheme, Indy's offensive scheme is amazing. They work like outside in. So everything they do is to try to create space for the receivers, running backs on the outside, and then just run it up the middle. And the way they do it, even some of their run plays, we're trying to get some swing passes to the running backs. Their screens are screens, but they're not super traditional screens. Like, their offensive scheme is beautiful to watch. And the way that Fernando Mendoza had control pretty much throughout this game. Now, the stat line wasn't crazy. And this is why I always try to stay away from like just stats. Because there's guys that can throw for a lot of yards and get a lot of completions. And depending on when they do that inside of a game, it could not mean shit. It could not mean shit, to be honest with you. And we've seen that happen in games. But we've also seen 177 yards, 150 yards be efficient and matter. And if you do what you are asked to do, which Fernando Mendoza did inside of this game, and you make those throws when they need to be made, which he absolutely did in this game, then damn it, you are a really, really good quarterback. So I would love to see what he is going to do against Oregon. If he plays anything close to this, Indiana's winning that game for sure. But incredible game from Mendoza, incredible game from that offense, incredible game from that defense. And shoot, if I'm Mendoza, I don't know if I want to go to the Raiders. Because now they do have a lot of draft picks. They have some things they can do to put pieces around them. It's going to be based on if you get the right coach, which we'll get into all that later, and you get the right system around like a Fernando Mendoza, with you having Ginty there, with you having Bowers there. You have some young pieces you can build on. I do think, the Max Crosby trade is imminent. I do think it's going to happen, but maybe not. I don't know. I believe that they will trade Max Crosby to get something for him, put him on some type of contender out of love for what he's done for that organization. That way he doesn't have to be a part of a rebuild. But we'll see. Now, I will say this. Dan Lanning might want to just get up out of Oregon. He might just want to get up out of Oregon, to be honest with you. Because they're always going to be good enough to be in that conversation, and they're going to be good enough to be in that top four. They're going to be good enough to be in the quarterfinals, semifinals, maybe sometimes in the championship game. But for whatever reason, they cannot get the right amount of talent to get over the hump. It is just like it's an organizational thing. And yes, I say I know it's a team. But it's these college teams are organizations at this point. So I think Dan Lanning is a really good coach. I have personal things as a fan that I don't like about Dan Lanning, but that doesn't matter. And part of it is just, me being a fan of USC. It's a little hate. It's a little hate. I'm not gonna lie. I keep it 100 with y'all. I keep it a buck. There's a little hate towards Oregon, man. Just a tad bit. But I can be objective and say, man, hey, yeah, Dan Lanning is a good coach, and he might just want to get up out of there. I don't know where he would go. I think there's some possibilities. Obviously, for right now, I'll probably have to stay there. But, I don't know. Maybe after next year, maybe try to make another run at it, see what happens next year. He'll definitely get some opportunities if they open up next year. But if I'm Lanning, I'm really seriously considering getting up out of Oregon. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned, but Fernando Mendoza went off in this game, and I'm sorry, Mendoza. I'm sorry, bro. One thing I will say about Mendoza is that a lot of people mention this as if I said something about his character. I think the kind of not super rah-rah, but kid having fun and loving football energy that he brings, especially during the interviews, I think is fire. I really think it's fire. And I think that's why a lot of people, a lot of teammates, his coaches, I think that's why they love him. And I think that maybe adds to the way he's actually able to go into these games and lock it in. Just stay cool and keep on going. And make the throws and make the plays at the right time. So, great game for Indiana. Now, the other game was Miami versus Ole Miss, which, if for nothing else, Ole Miss has just given us some good-ass games in these playoffs, man. Good-ass games in these playoffs. And what a damn game. Miami's defense dominated early in this game. And they were very dominant early, and it did feel like they were controlling this game really, first quarter, but they couldn't get it going offensively, and they had so many penalties in this game, ridiculous. ridiculous penalties. False starts McGee. And they left the door open for Ole Miss. Because, like, the worst thing you want to have happen is you feel like you are whooping somebody else's ass. And they just keep getting up. Like, you just don't knock them out. Like, your confidence starts to go away. Like, I'm swinging, man. I'm swinging. I'm catching homeboy uppercuts, everything, hooks, jabs. I'm even knocking them down. And then they just keep getting up like, yeah, man, I'm good, bro. And that's what this game felt like. It felt like Miami was really, really being like, defense was dominating. Offense had too many penalties. Ole Miss crept back in the second half. Trinidad Chambers made some fantastic throws. And ultimately it was that run game for the Canes that was incredible. Now the Hurricanes missed how many interceptions? 4? They missed like 4 interceptions, like in their hands, clear dropped interceptions that could have shut this game down at multiple times throughout. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Like, they missed interceptions that could have taken the momentum away from Ole Miss and just didn't. And then every time they missed an interception, Ole Miss had a great play afterwards. So Carson Beck was what I think that we kind of know about Carson Beck. I do think his experience in the end helped him out with being in some of these big games. He missed a lot of opportunities. He had some ducks he was throwing, like he was not throwing the ball that well, inaccurate, a lot of short throws. But he made up for it. He recovered it on the game-winning drive. And, you know, the Ole Miss, made a late game push, but wasn't enough. It was a weird, like, low-scoring battle where, Miami's defense was awesome. Ole Miss was getting stymied by this defense, but then Miami couldn't get it going totally offensively. They'd have a couple good plays, especially running, and then Carson Beck would miss some throws. And all of a sudden, it was a high-scoring game, and it was a goddamn shootout. So, amazing game. Shout out to Ole Miss. Shout out to Miami. Now let's get into the predictions. I don't have a score. I guess maybe I'll have one right here. Indiana versus Miami. I think this is going to be a really good game. Give me to me, you have to go Indiana. And this is no disrespect towards Miami. That defense is good. They're really good. I'm telling you, they remind me of like the college version of the Houston Texans. But I'm gonna say Indiana. We'll say Indiana beats Miami 28-17. 28-17, Indiana wins against Miami. 28-17 is my prediction. I don't know, man. They hung 50 on Oregon. Early, too. I said before that game, man, they might hang 40 on Oregon. They hung 40 before I even went to go get a snack. They hung 40 on Oregon. So 28-17, Indiana is my prediction for the college football playoff national championship. Going to be a great game. All right, let's get into the NFL playoffs. And first of all, I just want to give the NFL a round of applause, man. NFL, man, thank you. Thank you. Because most of these matchups were incredible. Most of these games were fantastic. So we'll start off with the Rams versus the Panthers. I was able to see the second half of this game. I had to work the first half, and I rushed my ass home to see this game because I looked at the score and I was like, oh, shit. Rams have done what they've done all year. They went up early in this game. And Panthers, and they've done what they've done all. The Rams have done what they've done all year, and they let the Panthers back in. Now the Panthers they fought hard. Bryce Young played really solid this game, and I just think the Panthers are like 2 years away because they have a bunch of young pieces. I think you lock in, like the Panthers should say, what we need to bring this team is stability. Lock in your guys. As far as your coaches, get a couple more pieces. I like their running back situation. I don't love it. And so maybe you get somebody there. Definitely got to help out that defense. But they have some young pieces, including Young, that I know Bryce Young's inconsistent, but he's again, like no pun intended, he is still young. We have to reevaluate how we really judge these quarterbacks their first few years, because we're seeing it honestly really take, unless you are just that dude, and even some of those guys who have had great rookie years or second years still struggle a little bit afterwards, start getting it going fourth, fifth year, definitely in that second contract. So I if I'm the Panthers in this division, I feel very comfortable with where I am. And I think the Panthers should really be thankful for the season they got and look forward and be excited about what's to come. Now, the Rams, to be transparent, to be honest, before I even started this show, before the season, once they signed Davante Adams, I was like, oh yeah, the Rams are going to the Super Bowl. When I saw them be one play away last year from beating the Eagles, like literally one incompletion away from beating the Eagles last year, I was like, man, they got Davante now. Who the hell are you going to cover? And that run game is still the run game. And their offense is good. They're not good. It's great. But it's stagnant in the second halves. Can they sustain this? Can they sustain this? We'll get into their next match, the matchup in the divisional round. But I don't know if the Rams can sustain these like hot starts and really, really stagnant, slow, especially like third quarters. Like they're gonna have to learn to not. They're gonna do this in one of these games and they're gonna lose. They got to put the foot on the gas, belt to ass, and they have to win these games, especially when they go up by 14, 21, 17 early, as they've done through a lot of these games. And then you look at the end of the game and you're like, they won by 7. They won by 3. How? Now, speaking of getting off to a fast start and then losing, Packers, Bears. Incredible game. Again, I'm going to say that about a lot of these games. Packers were fantastic in the first half. And it was like, oh, yeah, this is it for the Bears. It is what it is, man. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, if Packers had Micah Parsons, man, that's what it felt like. And I hit up my boy Wolf from Stirring the Pot. You can ask him. I got the receipts. And I was like, yo, book it. Bears are going to come back and win 31-28. And it would have been the exact score if Green Bay did not miss an extra point. The Bears came back 31-27. Now, I'm going to say this about the Bears receivers. There was 2 instances in this game where they were called incomplete passes. They were complete pass. To me, what they looked like, they were complete passes that were fumbled and then recovered by the Bears. They were called incomplete passes. But the Bears dropped the ball. The receivers dropped the ball entirely too much. A lot of times in the first half, like they have to be more consistent, especially DJ Moore. DJ Moore will have 2 or 3 drops in the first half that are just, you can't explain it. And I think it gets overlooked because by the end of the game, Caleb Williams goes on his magic roll. Boom, bap, bada boom, bap, pow. And then DJ Moore is normally the pow on the receiving end because he'll catch the game-winning touchdown. And then we're like, oh, my gosh. But they dropped the ball entirely too much, and that that leads to the stats, the stat nerds, which no disrespect, we all nerds when it comes to sports. But the stat lovers who are like, man, but the incompletion percentage. Now go watch the game. Because about 4 or 5 drops. Now, Caleb will miss some throws, but all quarterbacks do. But when you are throwing the ball and you're putting it in the spots, and even they're sometimes catching it, but then, either fumbling, they got lucky. Which I don't know if they got lucky on those incomplete pass calls because they actually fumbled forward and the Bears recovered it and it would have gave them more yards, but they were called incomplete passes. So I don't know. They look like they made a football move and whatever. It is what it is. But Caleb's heroics at the end of this game, amazing. Ben Johnson's been, he's been known for being aggressive, going for it on 4th down, and I think that kind of bit them in the ass in the first half. And they got it together and won the game. I don't know if that – I love Ben Johnson. I love what he's been able to do this year. I loved him when he was OC at Detroit. But I don't know if his aggressiveness is gonna end up biting him in the ass in the long run. We'll see. Bills versus Jags. This was the game that a lot of people were looking forward to. Trevor Lawrence, the so-called Prince. Josh Allen, the one-man band for a lot of people that a lot of people say he is, even though they got cooked. They got cooked down there. This was the one that if you asked 10 people, 5 of them had the Jags, 5 of them had the Bills. I had the Bills. Don't believe me? You guys can run over to my TikTok page. I had the Bills winning this game. Called the exact score. Didn't have the scenario. I thought it was going to go to overtime. But 27-24, Bills won on a really good game from the Jaguars. Really, really good game from the Jaguars. They have nothing to complain about. Now, I know what everybody's going to point to, the tush push at the end of this game where they pushed Josh Allen like what seemed like 1,000 more yards. Look, I'm not a Bills fan. I'm a fan of football. So, to me, I do think they probably should have blown the whistle a little bit earlier. But his feet were still moving. I don't know. That's one of those things, like, if they blow the whistle, then you're upset. If you're a Bills fan, them not blowing the whistle, obviously you would be upset where you're a Jags fan. I could honestly see both sides of the argument. But, this is what it is, man. The Bills are going to be like, okay. Now, Josh Allen had a really good game. And Buffalo had a key turnover in the beginning that they normally don't get, like, in the first halves of these games. Normally it's the second half. Buffalo's defense starts to really turn it up. And they got one early that kept this, I feel like, kept this game close for Buffalo at a time where it kind of felt like the Jags were really gaining some real momentum. And they kept it close. And then in the end, it was, hey, man, we're going to give it to that guy, man. And Josh Allen did his thing. He just, look, whether you like him or not, whether you agree with the notion that he has to do more by himself or not, that's completely up to you. But he is definitely one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league. And I think this year, overall, I think Matt Stafford, Drake May have played amazing this year, amongst many others. Trevor Lawrence has played amazing as well this year. But overall, like, that dude, Josh Allen can ball straight up. Now, the reason I didn't pick the Jags, because I always said, man, I'm just not sure about Trevor Lawrence. And I'm still not. But I will say this. If you look at that game, you can't entirely blame it on Trevor Lawrence. Now, the run game was going crazy for the Jags. I don't know why they even got away from it. ETN and Tootin were balling. And as most coaches do, they're like, but hold on, the quarterback. But hey, coach, man, we're running the ball real good. Like, not just real good, great, but the quarterback, man. We got to get the quarterback some stats. We got to get him some touchdowns. But Coach, ETN and Tootin, man, Tootin, he tune that route, man. He tune that route, man. I don't give a shit, man. The Trevor Lawrence, man, the quarterback. And they get away from the thing that's working. And most of the time, it comes back to bite you in the ass, which it did for the Jags. Now, we'll talk about the situation that happened with Liam Cohen and the reporter in just a little bit here, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are aware of, but if you're not, we'll talk about it. The game that I was absolutely wrong on, was the Eagles versus the 49ers. I had the Eagles winning this game. I thought the Eagles were going to be playoff Eagles. I thought they would just figure it out. Now, how it went down, it was a defensive, non-offensive battle, if you will. Like, the defenses were good, but also the offenses weren't really good. They got rid of their OC, and thank God the Eagles did, because I can't tell you how many times the Eagles went to run the play. They went to run a play, and there was literally 5 seconds left on the clock. And they're snapping it with like 1 second. And so their offense was just extremely slow. I don't know what was going on. Now, the biggest storyline from this is that Sirianni, A.J. Brown get into it on the sideline. A.J. Brown was not available for the post-game interviews. Left his jersey for his teammate. And was like, I'm out. A.J. Brown, look. He literally dropped the ball in this game. You can't complain. You can't whine. Say all this stuff, and then you get your opportunities and you miss them. Now, if you want to give me a couple of those times where it was maybe defensive holding or pass interference on a couple of those routes, 1,000%. I get that. There were a couple men, like they were holding him. They were double teaming him a couple times. He had one on a go route where it looked like there was a little bit of, at least some defensive holding, if not a pass interference, but he got out of it and the ball hit his hands. And then the late one on third or fourth down, I think it was third down, where he's on a crossing route and it hits him right in the hands in stride and nothing. So if you're going to complain about not getting the ball or be on the sideline reading the books and, saying this offense needs to do this, that, and the third, and you get your opportunities and you don't maximize them, like, it is what it is, bro. So I think they'll move off of A.J. Brown. I think, I have another theory about receivers that I'll probably save for another episode, because I think number one receivers are a little bit overvalued in today's NFL. Like, I can point to a couple guys who are actually like game changers. Two of them are in the playoffs now, in Puka Nacua and JSN. And we'll see what JSN does in the playoffs. But I think, man, I don't know. Number one receivers can be a headache sometimes. So shout out to the 49ers who just keep winning. Despite, like, their whole team being hurt. I mean, Kittle got hurt in this with an Achilles tear. And, these ACLs and these Achilles tears, like, you know them when you see them. Unfortunate. Trent Williams was able to play this game, but I feel like he's still hobbled. They defensively stopped Christian McCaffrey on the run game, but he ended up getting going at the end of this game, and he's their offense, man. Christian McCaffrey is their offense. Brock Purdy, though, I'm going to say this after watching Brock Purdy this game. The Mac Jones conversation could be deaded at this moment. Brock Purdy can just do certain things that he can move way better. And look, man, when you are willing to take chances as a quarterback, you're going to throw freaking interceptions. It just is what it is. Sometimes I need my quarterback to take chances. And if they throw an interception, they throw an interception. I don't need my quarterback to be safe 1,000% of the time. And Brock Purdy, man. Brock Purdy played well. He played well, man. Like, from watching him escape, he was under pressure. He was under siege. They really went into that game trying to stop the run game, which they did. And Philly's offense just couldn't get it going. Saquon's not the same anymore. Maybe that's something that you want to look at if you're Philly. Do you trade both of them? Do you try to get? I mean, I like Bigsby, their other running back. Excuse me. Seemed to have some bright spots during this game, but they made it a point to go to Barkley, which I understand. He's the number one guy. I thought they could have probably used the other guy a little bit more. But maybe if you're Philly, man, trade AJ, get some type of compensation, and they're going to have to get a new OC. I'll tell you what, there's a crap ton of coaches out there that I'm pretty sure you can find at least one decent one if you're Philly. Pats versus Chargers, man. Yeah. I mean, they played each other. This was probably the least, well, outside of the Texas Steelers, the least exciting game of the weekend. Now the Chargers were dominant on defense. They played great defensively. And like, so were the Patriots, but I'm like, it was this like the Patriots defense, or was it the Chargers offense? Now, let's get right to the point. Here's my thing with Justin Herbert. I get the O-line. I get the run game. I understand Keenan Allen's end of his career, back half of his career for sure. Like, I get that there are things that need to be addressed for the Chargers, but you can't sit here because you can say the same thing about the Niners. Well, they have Christian McCaffrey. I get it, bro. I get it. But you can say the same thing about a lot of these teams. And this is my only thing with Justin Herbert. All I keep hearing people say is this dude's like top 2 or 3 in the league. If you're top 2 or 3 in the league, you score at least a touchdown in this game. They didn't score a goddamn touchdown. Like, when you are that good, you account for at least a tub, if not 2. And this game was put on, like, this was a winnable game for the Chargers. And I'm sorry, man, Justin Herbert did this last year. To the Jags, and they were winning that game. Like, is Justin Herbert a starting quarterback? Yes. Is he good enough to start in this league? Yes, 1,000%. But and I'm not saying everybody. I'm saying there are a lot of people out there ever since Justin Herbert came into the league that are like, man, Justin Herbert. They be like, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Oh, man, I don't know, man. I'll put Justin Herbert. No, because first of all, the Chargers do this every damn time you believe in them. And I know they have a lot of issues to address. Injuries, stuff like that. I get it. But if you are supposed to be that good as everybody's saying you are, then you have to have some type of moments. You have to have a flash in a game, and he didn't have it. So that's my only thing with the Justin Herbert thing. He's not overrated because of his skill set. He's overrated because what the people keep saying he's supposed to be. I blame the people. So, but Patriots win this game in an ugly game for Drake May, ugly game for that offense. The run game kind of got going a little bit, but it couldn't really get going. Some big plays on from the run game. But Chargers defense really played well against the Patriots. Drake May did not look good, probably his worst game of the season, as far as just the aesthetics of how it looked. But I'll say this, man, when you can win and you overcome a really, really, really bad game, and that's the first game, and you still have some more to play, they might be all right. Because Chargers defense is good. They are freaking good. So I think they'll be all right. Now, we covered the Steelers-Texans at the beginning of the show. This is going to be a long show, guys, so stick around with your boy. And if not, pull up to the TikTok, the socials, or just skip ahead to whatever chapter you want to skip ahead to. It's going to be a long show. Hopefully you don't. Hopefully you stick with me. Let's get to the divisional round predictions. Let's start with the Broncos-Bills. Let's see. I think, oh man, how can I say this? I might change my predictions. I'll just put it like that. So if you're not following me on TikTok, make sure you head over to my TikTok, and I will have my predictions probably the day of the games, Saturday, Sunday. And they just need to go, first of all, the NFL just needs to go 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. Like this, I like having a Monday night game, but also don't. Like, let's just get it over with that we can all talk about it on Monday. The playoff picture's already set. We don't have to wait for anything. Like, stop playing around. Broncos, Bills. Shoot, man. I'm going back and forth on this, but as of right now, I have the Broncos 35-30. This is one of those games where, like, it's the Spider-Man me. Like, both of these teams are slow in the first half. Both of these teams, now Broncos probably have the better overall defense, but both of these teams make good second half adjustments, and both of these quarterbacks get it going in the second half. Now, I think Josh Allen is the better quarterback of the two. And normally when teams are even like this, I would go with the better quarterback. But as of right now, I just have a sneaky feeling, man, Broncos they're gonna eke one out. I might change my mind on that, but as of right now, Broncos versus the Bills, I have the Broncos 35-30. Patriots versus the Texans. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse for Drake May, and I know I just talked about Drake May, and he might be all right. But, man, if the Chargers did that to him, what the hell you think the Texans going to do? Now, I do think Drake May has a better game this game. I think they probably lean to the run a little bit more this game for the Patriots. But I think Drake May and the Patriots are about a year early, maybe 2 years early. And Mike Vrabel has coached the hell out of this team. I say all that to say this. I'm still blaze chopping, trunk popping, and I'm not even from Texas. I'm not from Houston. But damn it, give me the Texans 24-20. 24-20 Texans versus the Patriots. Seahawks versus the 49ers. This is going to be a really close game. But I do think the injuries catch up for the 49ers finally in this game. Another divisional round game, which is dope. This is super dope to actually have. Like, obviously the wild card, we had the Bears versus the Packers, but that was a divisional game inside of the playoffs. Hawks versus the Seahawks versus the 49ers. It's a divisional game, but it's actually in the divisional round, so it's pretty dope. Give me the Seahawks 20-17. I think this catches up. I think Darnold has another one of those mediocre games, but I think it stays close enough for Darnold to make like 2 or 3 plays at the end of this game. They kick a field goal to win it. It's going to be a close game for sure. I think both offenses probably struggle a little bit. I think the key factor in this game is I think, JSN maybe makes 1 or 2 plays in the second half that really, really help the Seahawks and put them in position to win. So I got the Seahawks versus 49ers, Seahawks 20-17. Bears versus Rams. This one's tough for me, man, because I said at the beginning of the show, and I said before the season started that I had the Rams in the Super Bowl, not winning it. I wasn't sure if they would win it or not. I wasn't sure. But I definitely had the Rams in the Super Bowl in the preseason. But, man, I'm a Caleb Williams fan. And you know me, it's fight on all day, man. USC, Trojans, till I DIE, I promise you that. And, man, this one's going to be a tough one. This is one where if my prediction is wrong, I'm not going to be super upset about it. I think this game is going to be the most, outside maybe the Broncos Bills, I think this is going to be the most electrifying game. I think this is a tale of two teams that do exactly the opposite. The Rams are really good in the beginning of the game, and the Bears are really good at the end of the game. And what we're going to see is exactly that. But I think this time it will be too much for the Bears to overcome. I have the Rams on the road against the Bears, winning this game 32-29. If I'm wrong, I'm totally okay with that. Where are we at? All right, so let's get into this coaching carousel. And I got a bunch of notes. I'm going to try to run through them so that it makes sense. So obviously, since the last time I recorded this episode, John Harbaugh has been fired. And then now Mike Tomlin is out there. Mike McDaniel was fired. So we'll start off with the Mike McDaniels thing. I think the Mike McDaniels thing was like John Harbaugh, he became available. I think that's what happened there. I think they had fully expected to go forward with Mike McDaniels, and then John Harbaugh was available. So I think that was really what that was. He's had a couple of interviews. He's interviewed with the Falcons. Let me see here. Falcons, Browns. I haven't seen the entire list. I was trying to go through it today. John Harbaugh is obviously the hot candidate right now. I think everybody's tried to put their name in the hat. As of now, he's actually interviewed with the Falcons and the Giants as of this recording. And he's considering them as well as the Browns, Dolphins, Titans. And I would expect the Steelers would be in that group depending on what they decide to do. Now, we know the Steelers organization likes to get like that 20-year guy. Harbaugh's in his 60s already, so do you get somebody a little bit younger that you think you can, Steelers are going to be looking for their 4th head coach of all time. So, they're going to want to get somebody that they can get in there for the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. And I don't know if John, at this stage in his career, would be that guy. Look for maybe like a Clint Kubiak in that situation. We'll see. I have nothing written about the Steelers because all that crap just happened today. Really, John Harbaugh has to be the first domino that falls because obviously there's Stefanski. Clint Kubiak has emerged as probably the second or third, like hottest candidate that a lot of people want. But here's where it's crazy to me. So Stefanski has met with the Falcons, Raiders, Ravens, Giants, Titans already. Cardinals have a bunch of people on their list. Half of them I'm like, Cardinals like to put names on their list or like to hire somebody to be like, man, we got the guy. See, y'all wasn't even looking at him. Y'all wasn't even looking at him, but man, I'm telling you. And then 3 years later, they'd be like, well, they'd be like, huh? We were wrong. They're looking at Vance Joseph, the DC, for the Broncos. Yeah. He's starting to emerge as a big head coaching candidate. Okay, sure. I don't know. I think when you go defensive, like in today's NFL, like I don't know. I think your ceiling is going to be a little bit lower when it comes, to a head coach. I think it's a little bit easier to have an offensive mind and then go get a really strong defensive coordinator than the opposite. That's just kind of what, this is in the old days. It's, you got to have that guy that's trying to reinvent the wheel. And I think that, the Sean McVays, the Kyle Shanahans, the Kevin O'Connell, even though not this year, I think a lot of those guys are typically more successful. So we'll see. The Falcons have been extremely active in this coaching carousel after firing their GM and coach Raheem Morris. They named Matt Ryan president of the football operations. Now, I don't know if this is a good move or a bad move, but I like the move. I do like the move. I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but I like it. I like you trying to go in the right direction, bring somebody who's been in the building, who's very important to the organization, the history of the organization, who knows, man, hey, man, if I was in my prime playing with Bijan Robinson, like I know I had Julio Jones, man, with Bijan Robinson, come on now. So I think they're going to look to get that quarterback situation right, or just, at least try to help the adjustment, the intermittent period. We'll see what happens there. But I like the move for the Falcons. They've been calling everybody. They've been calling everybody. They interviewed Kubiak. They interviewed the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, Anthony Weaver. The Seahawks defensive coordinator, a bunch of people, including Vance Joseph. All right, sure. Y'all gonna tell me Vance Joseph like him as a DC? We'll see. Like I said, Kubiak's he's the guy. He's starting to feel like the guy that people feel like is the Sean McVay, is the Kyle Shanahan of this coaching carousel. Now, Matt Nagy, I don't know if you guys remember Matt Nagy, is emerging. He used to be the coach of the Bears, head coach of the Bears. He's a OC somewhere now. Forget what team. He's emerging as the top candidate. I'm like, hold on, man. Where all these people came? I thought it was only like 5 dudes that were really being looked at, and like maybe 2 others. You know what I'm saying? It was like Dayball, Stefanski, Kubiak, obviously John Harbaugh. And it was like Kingsbury, maybe Solomon, maybe. Brian Flores' name has suddenly disappeared from a lot of these lists that I've been seeing. Just what I've been seeing the last couple of days. We'll see. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know where the hell anybody's going, and I can't tell you what team is a good team for which coach. Because I actually don't like the Raiders. Maybe. They've only interviewed Stefanski at this point, which is like, I don't know what the hell y'all doing. Y'all not in the playoffs. Y'all, what are y'all looking at? Maybe they're watching the college games. Maybe that's what it is. They trying to figure out that first pick. Can't do nothing with the first pick. You ain't got no goddamn head coach. Figure it out. I'm gonna save this topic, man. There were a couple of arrests that happened. Rashee Rice, Marshawn Lattimore. I'm gonna wait till some more news comes out about that. Maybe talk about that next episode. Now I want to get into the whole Lynn Jones thing that happened. Lynn Jones, who's a reporter for the Jacksonville Free Press, made a statement towards Liam Cohen, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And look, I'll play it. Here's what happened.
I just want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank you.
You hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank
And you
you.
did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
She caught a lot of backlash from a lot of reporters, especially like journalists. Like it was big time journalists for the statement that she made towards Liam Cohen, which is basically just offering him some support, showing him some love. Even was called a fake news reporter. And I don't want to, like, it's something weird about like certain media people, journalists, man. Like y'all be in y'all feelings way too much sometimes. I don't know if it's because you can't do the thing that the athlete does. I don't know if it's because, you know, athletes are starting to creep into the media space more and more and more. And maybe you feel threatened by that. But some of y'all, man, y'all be acting like, I'm just gonna call it what it is. Some of y'all media people be acting like hoes. Straight up and down. Corny. Now, here's the funny thing. I'm not gonna pretend like I know everything about journalism, but just from what I understand, having friends that were beat writers that worked for certain professional organizations. I've had friends that have worked for the Suns. I've had friends that have worked for the Cardinals that have been writers, journalists. And when I say friends, you know, people that I've known, acquaintances, you know, we're not, we see each other once in a while, whatever. But a lot of times, in order for you to get these stories, or in order for you to get these exclusives, you have to create a relationship with somebody. You have to create somewhat of a friendship with somebody. And that, you know, especially in the media where now these athletes, these coaches, these people, they can all write their own story on TikTok, on Instagram, on X, on whatever. They can give out the news the way they want to. And so the journalist, the writer is not as needed anymore. And maybe that's the thing. But don't you think, like, I guarantee you that Lynn Jones gets some type of exclusive interview after this. And Jacksonville might be like, because one of the dudes was from I forget his name, was from the AP, from the Associated Press. And they're going to be like, yeah, man, fuck you, man. Hey, what's that dude from the Associated Press? Oh, yeah, he here trying to get an interview, man, with Liam Cohen. Hey, man, fuck you, man. Tell him I said, man, fuck you. Hey, Lynn Jones is here, man. She looking to get an exclusive with Liam Cohen. Man, let her in, man. Give her the code. So shout out to Lynn Jones. She went on a news network, and you guys go look the story up. It's amazing. Shout out to her, man. And she had receipts, man. She had receipts. Go look up the interview that she had. It's really dope, man. She was like, man, how you gonna call me fake news? And she hit him with the gaga. Wow. I interviewed wow. She said she was name dropping. She had the receipts. Sir, you cannot return that without a wow. That's how she was doing. That's how she was mad. Shut your ass up, Mr. AP, man. All right, man, I appreciate you guys letting me ramble about my sports, man. Y'all know I love my sports. But we're going to get into the segment that tells you that the boob tube is so goddamn good late at night when you watching it, man, that you got to force yourself to turn that shit off and go to bed. This is Turn the TV Off.
TV off, turn his TV off, turn his TV off, turn his TV off.
All right, for this week's Turn the TV Off, I'm so glad I was able to do one for this week, man, because when sports are on, it takes up a lot of my time, a lot of the little bit of time that I have. So don't always get to watch a show. And this show has been buzzing over the internet. And it's one of those shows that if I saw like the premise of, I probably wouldn't have watched, but then I would have saw who's in it. and been like, yo, I'm for sure watching that. But I definitely watched it because my wife read the book. And she was like, we gonna watch this show. I had no choice. He was like, we watching this show. I read the book. Me and you watching this show. Me and you are gonna watch His and Hers. His and Hers, limited series on Netflix. And man, dope. It's based on a book, like I said. And what was it? 6 episodes, I want to say. It was pretty short. As far as the amount of episodes. Felt like they maybe could have done some more. Just know it, like after talking to my wife about the book and some of the things that were in the book that they left out. But if I didn't know if she had never told me about the book, I'm telling you, this show is crazy. Jon Bernthal, Tessa Thompson are the main characters in this. And without ruining anything, Tessa Thompson plays a young reporter in Atlanta, and she had taken some time off. She goes back to the news station, and she's trying to get her old job back. Some other young lady is now taking over that, and she ain't going nowhere. And so they're like, "Hey man, you've been gone. We didn't know where you were, and I'm sorry, man, but old girl's here and she's been killing it. It's her job now." She's like, "Well, man, I need to get back. I need to get back into the flow of things." She's like, "Well, hey man, I heard about something crazy that happened in my hometown, Dahlonega. I think that was the name of Dahlonega. I'm gonna go on the grounds and I'm gonna go report on this story." And man, they were like, "Man, what's Dahlonega? I didn't know you was from there." And she's like, "Man, yeah, I'm from there. I'm gonna go back." And so this murder that happens in her hometown, she gets back, and I'm not gonna say nothing else after that. But I will say this is a big time whodunit. And whatever way that they are pointing you, don't look that way. When they're like, "Hey man," when they show you something, I want you to be like, "Nah, man. It's her for sure." "No, it's not her, man. It's her for sure. It's him. I'm telling you, it's him. It's got to be him." No, man, because when they tell you it's somebody, you don't believe it. But man, this show was fire. This episode, or this season, this limited series, excuse me, His and Hers was amazing. And man, the way this shit ended, the way this limited series ended, I was like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. What? And I mean all of that in a good way. This limited series was fantastic. So shout out to His and Hers on Netflix. Incredible limited series. If you have a significant other, watch it with them. It's a dope sit down, and it is a quick. You can binge it over the weekend. You can binge it over the next couple of nights. Dope series. His and Hers, Jon Bernthal, Tessa Thompson on Netflix for this week's What You Heard. Did I say what you heard? Turn the TV off. I'm thinking about 4 different segments at the same time. See, it's live, but it ain't live. All right, let's end the show off, man. Let's get you guys up out of here. And get you guys out of here, man, with my narrative. All right, my narrative this week, man, a lot of news going on. I'm not going to super dive into it. I really try to stay away from a lot of this stuff when it comes to just speaking in public, because I just don't like to entertain a lot of bullshit out in the world, to be honest with you. And so when I have these conversations, I normally have them in private. And even if I do have them with somebody who disagrees with me, there's somebody I normally can trust, and we can have those type of conversations with. But Obviously, a lot of news in Minneapolis and Minnesota. A lot of crazy stuff. Look, man, I think whatever side of the coin you find yourself on, whatever side of the street you find yourself on, like I just really think we got to get better. Oh man, at like looking at the people around us, bro. Like looking at the people around us, man, looking at our neighbors, looking at the people we work with, man. We subscribing to a lot of bullshit, man. We are subscribing to some bullshit out in this world, man. We are subscribing to some of the most blatantest bullshit. And I guess history has always been that way. But man, it fucking sucks, man. It sucks. It sucks where we are as a nation. It sucks where we are as a country where, you know, can't even have reasonable disagreements. Reasonable disagreements. Can't even just agree to fucking disagree. And how we are treating each other. Half of the time we're fucking neighbors. It's just really unfortunate. So I don't know if I have the answers. I don't even know. I don't even know what the point of the point I'm trying to make. I'm just letting you guys know. Like, we got to start taking a fucking look in the mirror. We got to start taking a fucking a care. We got to start giving a goddamn about people and humans and neighbors. And quite frankly, if you can't do that, then I don't even want you pulling up to the channel, bro. Straight up and down. I don't, if you come in the comment section with that bullshit, if you are that type of person, bro, that's the one thing I love about sports, man. Is, especially if you played it, in these sports, you can be in a locker room, man, full of people you absolutely disagree with and talk about those disagreements. But you be like, hey, man, I'm riding with you, man. I don't see it the way you see it, and we can sit here and talk about it. We can have a heated debate about it. But it doesn't make me think of you as any less of a person. Matter of fact, I need you for this common goal that we have. And we can't do it. Like, this shit has just not been happening. It's nothing new. It's been happening for a long time. It's happened throughout history. But we got to fucking be better, man. So I hope whatever it is, man, I hope you guys, and I've said this numerous times before, I hope that we can just start to be better to other people around us, man. And start actually giving a fuck about human beings as human beings. Point blank, period. Because we all got family. We all got loved ones. We all trying to make a home. Whether we live with somebody, whether it's by yourself, we're all trying to fucking make it home, man. So, excuse my English through most of that, but that's where I'm at with that. So, on a better note, I had an amazing week. I hope you guys had an amazing week. I appreciate you guys pulling up for another episode of the A Ward Show. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment, rate your boy on all the audio platforms. Hit the link tree, pull up on all my socials. My TikTok, man, is where they be at. They be in there talking. They be in the comments. I'm just going to let you know. So, and I do respond. I do respond to most stuff. If you're in there on bullshit, I ain't going to say nothing. But you on some like, hey, man, let's talk about this. We're going to talk about it. So, yeah, make sure you guys pull up to all the socials, man. Hit that link tree. And, hope you guys have a fantastic week. And make sure you let your friends know, to your friends, to Tell your cousins, your mama, your grandmama, and them to pull up on the A-Ward show. And I'll see you, turkeys, next week.